Good morning, students. My name is Pradit Shetia. I am a teacher in Sriniketa School, Islur. Today, I am going to start the 8th standard English syllabus for you students. One thing what you need to know is there are mainly two textbooks in 8th standard English. That is, first one is Honeydew and second one is It So Happened. It So Happened is a textbook which contains short stories which are going to teach you something in your life. Right now, I am going to start the first chapter from the textbook Honeydew. So, in this textbook, you can find some contents as well as forewords and different things like publishers and acknowledgements and all. The main thing is the contents of this textbook. So, the first chapter here, what we are going to learn today is the best Christmas present in the world. Afterwards, we are also going to learn some poems which have been included in between those chapters. This textbook also contains some short stories like The Great Stone Phase 1 and The Great Stone Phase 2 also. At the end of the contents, we also find some declarations like fundamental duties which are meant to be followed by every Indian citizen every day, being a citizen of India. Okay, students, let's start the first chapter, the best Christmas present in the world. This chapter has been written by Mr. Michael Morpurgo. That's the name of the author. He has written something, a story which has been derived from the time of the World War II. One thing what you need to know is the World War was being conducted or happened between the two great armies in the world, that is the British and Germans, in 1914. It was actually the first World War. So at the beginning of this story, the author wants you to know about certain dates. At these particular dates, some important things, some spectacular or tragic things happened in the history. For example, in 30th January 1948, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of India, was killed. So like this, you are able to find different things happened in these different dates. So today, I'd like to start this chapter, the best Christmas present in the world. So, Mr. Michael, the author of this chapter, what he did is, he went to a junk shop in Bridport and what he wanted was a roll-top desk for conducting some work in his house. So, when he went to the junk shop, the man who was selling the table or the roll-top desk, he said that this table belongs to the early 19th century and it has been made from a very special wood, that is oak. So Michael desperately wanted one table or a desk for himself, but the other desks were very expensive. So what he did, this particular roll top desk, he thought it was a cheaper one, it was in bad condition and it had several things to be noticed. One clumsy leg, it was clumsily mended, some scotch marks on it, all around it, and it was going for very little amount of money. It was cheaper in rate. So Michael thought, I could restore it. It was a risk as well as a challenge, but he has to do it somehow. So what he did is, Michael paid the man and brought it to his garage or his workplace in his house, and he started to work on it on a Christmas Eve, that is 24th December. So the first thing what he did was, he removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. Also, the veneer had lifted almost everywhere. Veneer is the part of a table which has been attached or sticked on the top of the table to make it look attractive or impressive. So Michael He cleanly observed the table like this, in how they have shown in this figure. So this person, he is Michael. As you can see in the figure, he is checking out all the drawers in that roll top desk. So at the first glance, he came to know that the table has been damaged enough. As he has mentioned here, both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on their desk. Means they have done much damage on the desk. The last drawer, however, was very stuck fast. Stuck fast in the sense it was very difficult to open it or to separate it from the table. So Michael tried using all his force and tried to draw it gently out of the drawer. He used brute force to do so. So it struck with the side of his fist and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath. And what he found was a secret drawer. As you can see here, there is a secret drawer inside a drawer itself. So by seeing this, Michael was little shocked. Oh, he felt as if he has got a jackpot. Drawer inside a drawer. What an amazing thing. There was something there. The secret drawer was not empty. He reached in and took out a small tin box. It was sellotaped to a piece of lined note paper, and the paper contained something, some text being written on it. With a shaky handwriting, something was written on it. And what was it? It has written as follows: Jim's last letter, received on January 25th, 1915. So one of the soldiers, his name is Jim Mackerson. While being in the battlefield, he wrote this letter to his beloved wife, and he sent it to his wife. His wife, Jim's wife, also mentioned here that this letter should be buried with the wife when the time comes. So Michael knew, as I did it, whatever he did was wrong to him to open the box. But out of curiosity, he couldn't do something else. All he could feel was scruples at the time. Scruple is actually a feeling of hesitation to do something wrong. Actually, something that doesn't belong to him. To touch it or to open it was actually felt wrong by him. But out of his curiosity, he did so. He opened the box, and inside the box, he found an envelope which contained the letter written by Jim Mackerson. The address on the letter was Mrs. Jim Mackerson, 12 Copper Beaches, Bridport, Dorset. So Michael, what he did, he took the letter, he unfolded it, and it was written in pencil. In the World War time, there was no pen, I presume, and the letter was written with the help of a pencil, and on the top of the letter, the date mentioned was December 26th, 1914, the next day of Christmas. So here we get a rough idea that Mr. Mackerson has written a letter about something that happened on a Christmas day, and he wrote his experiences, whatever happened on Christmas day, on the date, the very next day, that is December 26th, 1914. So in the letter, he writes something like this to his wife: Dearest Connie, I write you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened that I must tell you about at once. We were all standing in our trenches yesterday morning, that is Christmas morning. It was crisp and quiet all about, as beautiful a morning as I have ever seen. as cold and frosty as a Christmas morning should be. You should consider the environment over there. Okay, so the Christmas time during the World War, everywhere it will be filled with snow and frost. It will be mainly a winter season. The mornings will be very beautiful. But the thing is, during the war, the time of war, every soldier, no matter where he is, he should be very alert, holding his gun in the battlefield and be ready to go at war at all times. But this particular day, the day of Christmas, Mr. Jim Mackerson was not expecting something spectacular. He continues in the letter, I should like to able to tell you that we began it, but the truth I am ashamed to say is that Fritz began it. Fritz, the word, the German soldiers has been referred as Fritz. Fritz people did something which was meant to be done or initiated by British, but they didn't do it. So the initialization of this particular thing was being done by German soldiers. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Trench is like a pit in which the soldiers hide themselves to save themselves from the bullets coming from the opposite party or the opposite army. Some British soldiers were able to see a white flag waving from opposite side. Then the German soldiers started calling out from the across the no man's land, and they started greeting. You can see here the Germans started to greet them. Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas. Here the word Tommy has been referred to the British soldiers or the English soldiers. So one thing is for clear, the British soldiers call the Germans as Fritz and the German soldiers call British soldiers as Tommy. So in the future, whenever I use the word Tommy and Fritz, students need to understand that in a clear manner. So let's proceed. We had got over the surprise and some of us shouted back, same to you, Fritz, same to you. When the British soldiers got greetings from the German soldiers, in return, the English soldiers also wished to the Germans, same to you, Fritz, same to you. I thought that would be that, means the matter is finished, no more greetings will be continued. But we all soldiers, both Germans and British, started to greet each other. But then suddenly one of them was up there and waving a white flag. So waving a white flag is a symbolism that he wants peace. Okay. So they don't want any kind of mess. They don't want war. For some temporary time, they want peace. So he exclaimed, he started shouting, don't shoot, lads, don't shoot at us. We have to tell something to you. And no one did. No one from the British soldiers shoot at this German army. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet and another, keep your heads down. I told the men, it's a trick, but it wasn't. Here you can see Jim Mackerson is the leader of those remaining British soldiers. So being aware, he told to his fellow soldiers to be alert. This could be a trick played by Germans. What if they wave the white flags? They might be hiding some weapons with them and suddenly they start shooting at us. That would be very catastrophic, very dangerous. That is why Jim Mackerson, what he did was, he told to his British soldiers, keep your heads down. It could be a trick, but later it was revealed that it wasn't a trick at all. It was a humble request made from the Germans. So one of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head, which the Christmas day they were meant to be drink or celebrate. So one of the Germans he started, "It is Christmas day, Tommy. We have schnapps." Schnapps is a drink, an alcoholic drink, and we also have some sausage with us. Sausage means something that used to be eaten as a breakfast. "We meet you, yes?" You can see here the quality of English used by Germans is not so good. They are using some very basic English to communicate with the English soldiers. "We meet you, yes?" So they are going to make sure whether we Germans could approach to you because we would like to offer you some schnapps as well as some sausages on this Christmas day. So by this time there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land and not a rifle between them. Little Private Morris was the first up. So he said, "Come on boys, what are we waiting for?" So one of the English army privates, his name is Mr. Morris, what he told is, "Come on boys, what are we waiting for? The opponents, the German army soldiers are offering us something on this Christmas day. We shouldn't be hesitating. We should go there and we should also greet them on this holy day." So all the soldiers went to greet each other and there was no stopping them. I was the officer. I should have stopped them there and then, I suppose. But the truth is that it never occurred to me I should. All along their line and ours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats and khaki coats. Here, remember one thing, grey coats belong to the German soldiers and the khaki coats belong to the British soldiers. So they tried to meet each other on the no man's land. No man's land is a amount of area. It is a separation between the borders of the British and the German border. So in this particular place, the no man's land belongs to none of the countries. It is a separation or an isolation of social distance. So both the grey coats and khaki coats started meeting in the middle on the no man's land, and Jim Mackerson was the one of them. He was the part of this. In the middle of war, we were making peace. This is the most spectacular sentence told by the author here. In the middle of war, during the World War I, both the soldiers are trying to make peace. You can imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of Fritz officer who approached me, hand outstretched. "Hans Wolf," he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. "I am from Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas." Here you should observe that one of the German soldiers, he is a Fritz officer. He stretched out his hand. He would like to shake hands with Jim Mackerson. He introduced himself. He told his name is Hans Wolf. He gripped the hands of Jim Mackerson and he also told that he is belonging to a place. The name of that place is Dusseldorf. And he also told his profession. He played a cello in the orchestra. So playing cello means Mr. Hans Wolf, he is not actually a soldier. He is a musician. But during the times of war, even the normal citizens had to participate in the war. They were being forced to become soldiers. So here you could see some meanings have been given side by side. Cello is a musical instrument like a large violin. So this person, Hans Wolf, had to play some instruments in the orchestra. So in return, the British soldier, he introduced himself. He said, "I am Captain Jim Mackerson and a happy Christmas to you. I am a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England." See here, Jim Mackerson, he introduced himself. Before the war, I was actually a school teacher.